Annie, if you would please call the roll.
Mayor Pollan,
Here.
Vice Mayor Satula,
Here.
Councilman Smith,
Here.
Town Manager Hicks.
Here.
All right, moving on to the approval of minutes, March 7th town meeting minutes and March 23rd work session minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for March 7th town meeting and March 23rd work session minutes.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Reports of officers, boards, and committees. So we'll go to permits report.
Building use and occupancy sign permits issued during the month of March 2016. There were no building permits, no temporary use and occupancy permits, no demolition permits, no grading permits, no sign permits, and no temporary sign permits. There was one use and occupancy permit on March 21st, Arnold Mason, 10 Pueblo Circle for solar panels.
Do the finance report as well?
Sure. Finance report for March 2016, beginning cash balance $750,936.05. Total revenues $125,091.83. Total expenditures $236,066.44. Ending cash balance $639,961.44, and total investments $996,464.53.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Moving on to Town Manager, Code Enforcement, and Planning Commission.
Town Manager's Report, March 2016. Please have your trash curbside by 7:30 a.m. on the day of your scheduled pickup. New members are still needed for the Board of Zoning Appeals, Planning Commission, Ethics Commission, Parks and Rec, and Environmental Sustainability Committee. Please contact the Town Hall if you'd like a new 95-gallon toter for recycling delivered to your home or place of business. Broadband. The town is seeking additional funding from Charles County and the state of Maryland. That project looks to be moving forward rapidly. The TAP grant. Kickoff meeting was held. Work to begin in late spring, early summer. We will discuss the project in detail at the next town meeting. The budget. Public hearing on the budget to take place Thursday, April 14th at 7 a.m. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Wasn't that fun? Sustainable communities. The town is applying for this designation. The application is complete. We should hear back late May, early June. Demolition. The debris remains. We hope to have that removed this week. The ULI study. The town, along with Charles County, is working on a ULI study for the town of Indian Head as it relates to economic development. The technical assistance application process is complete. Eli's. The new sign is located in front of the old Charles County Sheriff Office. Office space for lease. The roof repairs are supposed to take place this month. I've met down there with 4 prospective buyers of the property just last month alone. Phillips property. We're going to have a follow-up meeting scheduled for this week to discuss the options at the old CVS and Superfresh. Restrooms at Manley Park and the fountain on the Village Green are back in service. Atlantic Kayak will be moving into the old Up the Creek location at the end of Mattingly Avenue. And last but not least, paving repairs to take place all over town in the next couple of months. Code Enforcement Report, March 2016. The town issued 31 notices of violations during the month. 3 property maintenance, 13 trash and debris, 6 vehicle, 1 refuse, 3 exterior structure, 1 unsafe structure, 1 demolition, 1 handrail and guardrail, and 2 noise violations, 1 being a dog, another one being a vehicle. The town also performed 13 rental inspections during the month. Planning Commission Report, March 2016. The Planning Commission reviewed a concept plan for parcel 182A.
Thank you. Moving on to Community Affairs.
Hello, everybody. Let's see. Our Community Activities Committee meeting will be held for the month of April. It's on Tuesday, April the 12th, 7 o'clock here in the pavilion. Anybody interested in volunteering or checking us out, please feel free to show up. On Friday, April the 22nd, in conjunction with Earth Day, the town is planning to plant some trees on the village green with the Indian Head Elementary School students. Saturday, April 23rd is Nature Day event, and it'll be in conjunction with the Parks and Recs Expo, and that's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. here in the Village Green and on the Village Green. I'm sorry, Pavilion and on the Village Green. Again, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Free event for everybody to come out. Tuesday, April 26th, don't forget, is primary election day. This is a polling place, 7-2, here, and that is for the incorporated town residents that are registered voters that actually live within the incorporated town limits. The poll is open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Thursday, April 28th, is the annual Volunteer Appreciation Dinner. That's sponsored by the Town Council. That's at 7 p.m. here in the Village Green Pavilion. That's by invitation, and y'all should be receiving, it'll be by email, of course. And this year, we have special entertainment that's going to be provided by the Henry E. Lackey Choral Group. And they're very excited to be coming here to entertain everybody. Saturday, May 14th is the Taste of Indian Head, 4th Annual, and the Town Parade. That's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Anybody interested in being in the parade, please let me know. On Friday, May 20th, the annual Bike to Work Day with the Tri-County Council and the Indian Head Elementary School. It starts 7 a.m. for the people that bike to work. The actual program commences at 9:45. Public is welcome to that as well, and that's another free event. And then we're also working on our July 4th celebration, which will be held on Monday, July 4th. At Henry E. Lackey High School on Thursday, April 14th at 7 o'clock, they're offering a free concert to the public, and it's the United States Navy Band of Washington, D.C. So they sent me a flyer and asked if we would advertise that for them. And if you need more information on that, you can call 301-753-1753. Anybody? Nope. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Actually, I have a couple of things. The first thing is, as you can see, I'm in short sleeves. That means the weather's getting warmer, and when the weather gets warmer, crime increases, which brings me to the second thing of you got to lock your doors. People are not locking their doors in their cars. They're leaving them unlocked. They're keeping valuables in there. People check the doors, they're unlocked, they go into their cars, and they take the stuff out of it. Now, because I preached that so much in the town, people are getting embarrassed about reporting that their cars have been broken in and their stuff has been stolen. So, if you insist on not locking your doors and your stuff gets stolen, please report that to the police so we can take the report and we can get an accurate description, crime patterns and everything like that to show everything for our statistics that we actually do have people that are breaking into cars and taking stuff out of them. That also matches up with if you see a crime that occurs, please call the police. People, for some reason, are watching crimes occur and don't want to get involved. Be a good neighbor. You know, not the State Farm kind, but a good neighbor, and call and help your neighbors out when people are taking their stuff. So that's the main thing that I wanted to talk about. The two other things is, did anybody hear about a fire that occurred up here? Oh, okay. Anybody knows what happened to that fire? Okay. Well, I'll tell you, it was an arson. The fire marshals are conducting the investigation. They have a suspect. They have interviewed people and everything like that, and there's an ongoing investigation. And it's not like a serial arson or anything like that. It's just kids playing with fire. So that's what's going on with that. Now, did anybody hear about a shooting that happened? Anybody curious about that? Okay. It was an accidental shooting self-inflicted. There was not a robbery. There was not a theft. There wasn't anything like that. It was an accidental shooting. So that's what we have going on with that. And the last thing is I'm also working in conjunction with the Marines, just in case in the next week that rubble isn't cleaned up by the buildings. Work with the Marine Corps, and the 21st we'll do a cleanup, and we'll make sure that's part of the things that's addressed, just in case it's not cleaned up by then. And other than that, does anybody have any questions? You? Oh, no, you're just cleaning your mouth? Okay. Other than that, please lock your doors, report the crimes, and that's it. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your night.
Moving on, we have a briefing by David Elder from East Inc.
Good evening. For those who don't know me, my name is David Elder. I'm with Environmental Associates, and I am the one tasked with providing you drinking water and taking your wastewater and discharging it back into the Mattawoman Creek. I'm here tonight just to give you a quick briefing on the state of your system. I have it broke down as far as the distribution system, which I'll start with, because everybody hears of the lead and copper issues in Flint and other municipalities. As far as the town is concerned, the last set of lead and copper samples collected were in June of 2014. They were collected, they were collected over the months of June to September of 2014. This is a sample that is required to be collected from inside the resident's house. So the residents, we provide the bottles to the resident, and then we give them the collection instructions. From there, the resident follows the instructions, collects the sample, calls us for pickup. We then in turn turn it over to an outside lab, and they provide us the results. With the town's water quality, there are no lead and copper issues at this time. As part of the sampling, the town only collects from the Tier 1 sites, which are those that are deemed the most probable areas where lead or copper could be a concern. Again, those are the houses built after 1982 and prior to Maryland banning solder in the actual, or lead in the solder, excuse me. Other than that, is everybody familiar with the water quality report that is published in the paper? Would be in end of June, 1st of July. Well, that will be, it's the Consumer Confidence Report. That is a list of every contaminant that the town is required to, that is detected, that the town is required to sample for. Again, the town meets or exceeds all of EPA and MDE's limits. And part of that is the disinfection byproducts that it's caused by having to add hypochlorite. That's our method of disinfection for your drinking water. Because that mixes with organic materials, it does cause disinfection byproducts. But the town's numbers, again, exceed or meet the state requirements, and they actually exceed it so much that we've been able to reduce the amount of monitoring that is required. Does anybody have, before I move on to the next part, does anybody have any questions about the distribution system water quality? Yes, ma'am. The Tier 1 sites are, if your house was built after 1982, but prior to, sometime in 1983, Maryland banned lead in the solder that is used on the copper pipes. That's what happens. If your water is aggressive, it attacks that and then releases it into your water. The town's water is very neutral. The pH is in mid-7s to just barely 8, so we're neutral to alkaline. So in that regards, we don't have to worry about it attacking it anyways. That, yeah, iron is a nuisance chemical or material. Where is your? Riverwatch comments. Okay. I know we're due to flush the system again in 2016. We can take a look at those issues while we're opening. We'll collect them from the fire hydrants, so we don't have to bother you with getting inside. Let's see.
Mr. Elder, when are we scheduled to do the next sample round? You said we did it in 2014. Are we scheduled this year, or is
The
it?
lead and copper?
Yeah.
It's currently required every 3 years as a minimum. If anybody feels that they'd like it, we can collect it we have to collect it every 3 years, but we can collect it yearly, every 2 years.
I think with the
but-
heightened sense of lead, that we should probably collect it nearer than
Yeah, as long
2017.
as we meet the every 3-year requirement that MDE has, we can do it more frequently if that is what's requested. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there a cost to collecting water and sending that to testing?
Yes. I don't have the latest numbers from 2004. I mean, it's a few $100s a sample.
Yeah, it's roughly $400 to have it, a sample,
Yeah.
tested. But I think, for me as a resident, I would pay the $400 myself to know that we have cleaner water than wait an extra year to find out there may be something wrong with it. So,
Understand that, is that per sample?
Yes, sir.
So $400 per sample.
Roughly.
How many samples do you take?
We have to collect, we're required to collect 20.
Okay.
So we collect 20 samples every 3 years.
$400,
Well, it's well,
per sample.
if we want to monitor more frequently, we can select from, we have 42 sites that meet that tier, the top part of the tier 1. Since we know we don't have any lead transmission lines, we have to go to the next part of the tier, which is houses built in those years. So we don't have to collect the full 20.
You don't have to do 20.
Yeah, I mean, we can spot.
I understand that, but $400 compared to $8,000 is kind of a difference.
Drinking lead water versus paying $8,000. So, I mean, that's something we can discuss.
Our rating right now is exceeds.
Yeah, we well exceed.
In 2014.
It's going to be tested in 2017.
Okay. If everyone's
So
comfortable.
we can, if you'd like, we can look at a smaller sample size and then,
I put that before the residents. If they're comfortable with it, then we'll go with the schedule as is.
the majority of the houses are towards the Madam Woods. Is anybody from that area in the duplexes or? Yes, sir. If you're one of the houses, how long have you lived there? Were you there in 2014? Okay, you would have, if you're one of the houses that falls in that time frame, you would have received a letter, I believe it would have been signed by Ryan, saying that we needed to get in touch with you. And so if you're not familiar with the paper or the notification, then you're not one of the ones that falls within that range. Okay, then. All right, on to the next item. We'll talk about the wastewater treatment plant for a minute. In 2007, 2008, the new wastewater treatment plant came online in various phases. It's a new enhanced nitrification process. That's called ENR. Basically, excuse me, I got crossed up. The new process, we far exceed Maryland MDE's requirements on that as well. The only issues we do have, we still are fighting an I&I problem, inflow and infiltration during rain events. So those become challenging. But that being said, even with those excess flows, we still fall within our well within our limits allowed by MDE. Recently, we conducted an energy audit at the wastewater treatment plant. It was funded at MCET, the Maryland Center for Environmental Training. They're through the College of Southern Maryland. They have an office there. Received a grant from the EPA, and we were able to get the town selected to have this audit paid for. And the information is coming in now, and we're analyzing the data to see what the actual costs are of making some of the recommended changes versus what we're actually paying in energy costs. Again, we've reached out to additional labs to see if we could get some updated pricing for this year. And we've also reached out to other chemical suppliers to see if we can reduce chemical costs as well. Currently, the way it looks, though, the vendors that we're currently using are the lowest bids. And I will end tonight on, since the officer spoke of the fire, I will talk about one of our new wells that we recently brought online. And unfortunately, that was the building that when we put the design together,